You gotta start the music.
Oh, that's
I was
right.
talking fantasy football with my friends the other
You're an
day.
idiot. Oh, God.
Wow. Look who's back. Where the hell you been? At home, sitting in your asses?
Go away now, Josh. Actually, my name is Alan.
I'm a dorky white kid with a Cub Scout bandana on his head.
Bravo.
Oh,
November.
Tango. On.
Football.
Welcome back to Bentie Fantasy Football for another week. As you can see, we like to goof off even as the music's playing. But,
Either that or we just forgot.
yeah. Anyway, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. A lot of things went down in the last week
They
in
did.
the NFL. Let's start out, I guess, with our beers and jump right into it.
Okay. All right. So, guys, this is going to be the last show of the year.
It will. be.
But we want to thank you from the Bent family. So everybody that's watched us this year, everybody that's liked, shared, subscribed, we appreciate each and every one of you.
Sincerely from both of us. We love the fact that we can sit here and like we always say, make fools of
Make
ourselves.
asses of ourselves.
Yeah, in front of all you guys, and you guys tune in and still watch us every week, despite that. So
That's probably why they're watching.
it's got to be it.
Yeah.
Give the advice.
Yeah.
And do we have some final numbers this year for what we did as far as our predictions go?
We do.
Okay,
we
that's
do.
all right. No, we can wait on that. But I just want to make sure we had it handy in case we needed it. I
Yeah.
don't want to introduce it and not be there. But anyway, let's jump to my beer. It's kind of important, as you guys all know, and we're not gonna like go into this too deeply. But number 3 is mine, and of course that's for Damar Hamlin. Unfortunately, you guys know what happened. We're not gonna kind of go through that, but on behalf of all of us here, including my wife and whoever, we have been praying for the family, and we're glad to see that he's making a recovery. And I don't expect to see him on the football field again, but in spirit, he's always going to be there, and the team's always going to be playing for him.
Yeah, and from the news that we hear, it's only looking better right now.
Yeah.
So, one thing I do want to bring up though, last week we talked about we would talk about how we did in the Super Bowl and stuff like that.
Yep.
We're not going to do that this week because it would be in bad taste, because that game, that Buffalo and Cincinnati game, had a major impact on the Super Bowl. So, congrats to Jono, but we're not going to talk about how we did because, like I said, it would be in bad taste. There's more important things, especially with Damar Hamlin's recovery.
Yep.
So, and I think Alan agrees with me when I say that. So.
Absolutely. So, let's pop these bad boys open.
All right.
Let's get on to something positive.
All right, you got it.
Pop open a cold one, sit back, and enjoy the show.
Absolutely. Yum.
All right.
So, do you want to go over the final numbers? they're not good, but
Yeah, let's run through them real quick.
Okay.
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
No matter what it is.
Okay, so on the season, you know what? I updated them, but I didn't write them down. So,
That's all right.
Alan, you were actually above 500. You were 34 and 30
Okay.
on your start and sit. Okay, so congrats to you.
All right.
I was 30 and 34, so I was the exact opposite of you. So we were 500 as a team.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
it could have been worse. Like I said, no matter what the numbers are, it could have been worse.
could have been worse. Now I did get you on the WAMF, our picks against the spread and over under picks. So
Yeah,
I went 1-3 last week.
I had
So
a bad stretch at the end there.
you did. So I'm 24 and 32. I went 1-3. Alan went 3-1, so he's 23 and 31. So I'm 2 games ahead of you, but other than that,
Together we're sub 500.
yeah, we're still sub 500.
Yes.
All right,
So
so
overall, we're like just barely under 500.
yes, so we're just under 500. So
it'll get better, folks. I promise. It's got to.
it has to.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Well, we'll see. We'll see next year if it gets better.
Yep. Okay, so one thing I do want to remind you guys of is, even though we're winding down the season for us this year, Definitely like, subscribe, and share. We're gonna have a different face on the show next year. I mean, in the background, we probably won't see a lot of this stuff. But anyway, definitely like, subscribe, and share, and get our faces out there. What's left of them.
I thought you meant I was going to have to get plastic surgery or something. So
well, we'll talk about that later.
yes.
So please do that, though. We would greatly appreciate it, and we, like Josh said before, we greatly appreciate you guys watching us. So let's jump on.
Let's jump on. Now, normally we do a What's Got Us Bent, but I don't think either one of us have anything that's got us bent this week. I mean, I feel really good with the way the fantasy season ended up, and I've enjoyed doing this all year.
I say overall, good season. Good season. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Good season.
Okay. So let's jump in. Okay, guys, we do idiotic stuff on this show,
this is gonna be the second best part of this show because we're doing the Benties today.
We're doing the Benties. We got the second annual Benties. Now, you guys say, well, wait a minute, you guys done the wheel before? Not like this, okay? Yeah. So what we did, you want to explain it to them, Alan?
Yeah. So if you notice that behind us here, some of the labels that we've put up over the following or the previous weeks are actually gone. Well, we've actually taped them to the back of this. Attached them securely to the back of this, and look, it almost has clearance there too.
I know.
But anyway, we're gonna spin this, and we can see what's gonna come up. But what it is we got to take one of the labels that we put on here, and we got to relate it back to something other than what it was originally linked to.
Yes.
So we have to find some different thing, and it's going to be something that's going to be probably outrageous because these are pretty specific. So this could get fun or not.
Or not. So.
All right. So you want to?
I'll do the honors.
Go ahead.
This is gonna fall apart.
Oh my god!
All right. So I got this one. So.
See, you had this one before too.
I did. So this one, guys, if you remember, it's a hospital sign. This was my team. I think week 6 or 7, somewhere right around there, and I had 3 or 4 guys that just went down, and my team was in shambles. So now this one is pretty easy, I think. So Damar Hamlin, we pray for your speedy recovery. And we want you to get better. We want you, granted, you may never play football again, like Alan said, but the most important thing is right now, keep fighting and get healthy and...
Yep, and get past that.
So...
yeah, it's interesting, too. I don't want to get into this too deeply, but the one thing I do want to say about this whole situation is, there's other people that need to be thought of in the situation too, and that's going to be their Hamlin's teammates, obviously his family, but the people that I really want to recognize here is the Cincinnati Bengals fans. Class act. You guys were supportive of the Bills fans, and everything came together. It brought everybody together. So thank you for doing that. It was quite the thing.
Every fan wants to see their team win, but I think collectively the fans came together and saw the bigger picture and said there's more important things at stake here. So
yep.
Yes, respect for that.
Absolutely. I made a little adjustment to the wheel here. So now it should spin at least somewhat more freely, I hope.
All right.
So we're gonna go on, and by the way, this is the WOMF. Just so you guys know, if you've never seen us before and somebody just shared this video, thank you for doing that. This is the Wheel of Misfortune. The reason we named it WOMP is because we're total idiots. Thank you again for joining us.
And we have a co-host that shows up every once in a while named Miss Fortune.
Yeah, and
so.
She's not got any head or anything on her over there.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. And no, it's not. No, moving on.
Yes.
There you go. So I'm gonna want this bad boy, girl, whatever. Oh no.
Yes, that's the one.
It did come back to bite me.
All right.
So the very the second week, I guess, that we actually started putting information on the other person's label and claiming it was our own. I thought I'd go off the wall a little bit with Josh, and the label said, and now keep in mind that I have to relate this back to something not related to what it was originally, which I don't know what it was originally related to, but anyway.
I think it was that my team sucks and you're an idiot is what the consensus came out to, if they'd all agree on.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm glad I didn't get the other one, the Kanye one.
I know,
But,
right?
Anyway, so the label says Michael Jackson, Josh Jacobs, Scarlett Johansson are sure to agree. Wow. Well, I can make this real easy and relate it back to something heavy again, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go with something else.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to tie this to something a little bit later in the show. Michael Jackson, Josh Jacobs, and Scarlett Johansson are sure to agree that there's going to be a surprise winner of one of our Bentie Awards tonight.
Okay.
And they would agree that the winner of this award is actually the perfect person to win this award.
Okay, I agree.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. Keep that in mind as we go on with the show, because up next, we actually have. Should we show some of these ones?
Yeah, let's show some of the ones that.
Let's take a couple of them off.
So, Josh is the new owner of my fantasy team. I wrote that after the second time I beat him this season.
Shut up.
I would have loved to got that one.
You still bragging about that? What place did you take this year? Yeah,
It doesn't matter. I got third.
Nice to see you in the rearview mirror. That's
I got
all have to
third,
say.
so okay.
All right. Here's one of them. Josh sucks down his beer too fast. I think that was the first one. The very first
one of the first or second.
Yeah.
I think you gave me this one. I'm convinced the Jets are going to win the Super Bowl.
This one.
Surprisingly, that's not the dumbest thing I've heard Alan say.
This one is Josh's, and I have no idea. Oh yes, no, I do know what this is. Josh said, ask me about my about our week 3 fantasy matchup. Because again, go ahead and brag a little bit.
Because we were both 0-2.
Yep.
And I beat him.
Yep. And,
here's one: beers to the 2022 season.
By the way, I took second place this year.
You did.
Good
I
to
got
see
third.
the review. Okay. Our cup runneth over.
Our cup runneth out.
Or yeah, I'm sorry. Our cup runneth out.
That's after Cup got injured and we
Yeah.
had to stop doing the Cup watch.
Yeah, that would have been another interesting one.
Go Suns! And this was from, I'm a Suns fan, just like I'm an Arizona Cardinal fan. And you guys know we talked about Robert Sarver plenty on this show last year. The Suns have decided to part ways with him, so go Suns. So that's what that one was for.
Yep. And the Lovey Bowl. Yeah.
That's when Houston played the Bears.
Yeah. So, all right. Enough said.
Enough said.
All right.
All right, let's move this thing.
Goodbye, Womp.
Goodbye,
See you next
Womp.
season.
I'm going to want to come over here, like, during the week, and we can play with the wheel. I'm going to miss Womp.
That's what happened when I was gone that weekend.
Yeah.
Man. All right. Let's jump right into our annual thing that we have done now.
Second year. This is the second year.
This will be the second year. I think last year we announced that it was the annual one when we did it because we pretty sure we're going to do it again no matter what anybody thinks.
It was the first annual. So this is the second annual Bentie Awards, or the Benties.
Yeah, so we have our categories, and we're going to use the same categories for the most part that we did last year.
We do have a special category at the end.
Yes.
Lifetime, or not a Lifetime Achievement Award, just an Achievement Award. We'll get into.
Or maybe 2
Yeah.
categories.
Maybe 2.
Maybe.
So the first category that the Academy voted on was Most Improved Player in a Starring Role. Now, for me, that's got to be Josh Jacobs. Okay? My winner is definitely Josh Jacobs. He was drafted 5th or 6th round, I think you got him.
Yeah.
I didn't expect much out of Josh Jacobs this year. You were higher on him than I was. I know you didn't expect world-beating numbers, the number 1 overall running back.
Yeah, he showed a lot of real good talent last year that I just could not look away from, especially when I thought the Raiders were going to have a high-powered offense this whole season, based off of last season.
Oh, especially with the addition of Devontae, I thought they were going to be amazing.
Yeah, and I can say this too. And Josh Jacobs is tough, man. He's tough. He can battle through things and still be out there on the field, running down the field for whoever knows how many yards.
Definitely.
So yeah, definitely, I like that Josh Jacobs.
Okay, so who does your Bentie go to, Alan?
So my Bentie goes to my team. Not my team, but my team's quarterback, Justin Fields. I think looking at where the Bears were last year, there was no real MVP standout.
I agree.
Within their team. This year, that's all changed. I mean, almost their entire rushing offense is Justin Fields.
Something like 50 to 60% of their rushing yards down the stretch came from Justin Fields.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he's not going to be in the game this last week of the season. But that kind of kicks him out of the ability to beat the all-time rushing record for a single season by a quarterback. And
who's got that, Lamar?
Lamar.
Yeah.
So that's kind of out, but I think if the Bears can build around him, and that's going to be a whole other conversation we can have some off the air. But if they can build around him, I think Justin Fields could just escalate his game even more next year.
I agree with you. I agree, and I can't wait to see what the future brings for Justin Fields.
Yep.
So that's our winner for most improved player in a starring role.
Yep.
Next category is biggest disappointment in a starring role, so the exact opposite.
Yeah.
And my winner is Jonathan Taylor. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, he performed in a few games, but to be the number one overall fantasy pick, you really can't crap the bed like he did in many of those games. I mean, he was putting up 40 rushing yards, 52 rushing yards. I think he went 4 or 5 games without a touchdown in a row. And it just, the productivity that you seek to get for using a number one overall pick just didn't live up to it.
And at the point when he got injured too, it was when he was starting to pick up some momentum too and move in the right direction.
Yeah, he started looking good, and then all of a sudden,
yeah, he's gone. So, and it's not just the injury part of it, but like you said, being the number one predicted number one pick overall for the season. Long stretch from that.
Oh, absolutely.
Not even close. So yeah, I can see the disappointment there.
Yeah, definitely.
My pick was Matthew Stafford. Despite injury, that Rams offense just looks absolutely horrible.
Well, you saw what happened too when Cup went down.
Yeah.
I mean, he was their offense,
Mhm.
and
Yep. I mean, obviously that decimated it, but having nobody efficient to throw to him, Cup's efficiency or productivity went right off the cliff.
absolutely.
So Stafford's my winner, and JT is yours.
Okay, so that was biggest disappointment in a starring role.
Yep.
Now we're moving on to supporting roles here. We're going to do most improved player in a supporting role.
So explain to him a little bit what you mean by a supporting role.
Supporting role is not like your RB1. We're not talking guys like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry. These are guys that may not be expected to do much, especially in the current year. More of a backup role, RB2, RB3, tight end 2, wide receiver 2,
Yep.
so forth. So one guy that I was really high on, not a lot of people were, Dameon Pierce. He was a rookie,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Rookie running backs, you really have to be the elite of the elite to really make a big difference in your rookie year. The only reason I really liked him is because who else was in Houston's offense?
Mm-hmm.
So I saw big things out of him. I think I got him in the 4th round. I reached 2 to 3 rounds to get him because I was so high on him. He really did live up to that until he got injured. So in a supporting role, he wasn't expected to do much, but he sure shined at times.
Yeah, that's true. And so my pick was Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd came up, I shouldn't say big, but he came up sporadically big.
When he shined, he shined. He really did.
It was feast or famine with him, to be honest with you. But when you feasted, you really feasted. So
he ate, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. So yeah, it was Tyler Boyd for the season. That's that offense is phenomenal. I think there's going to be a long-term huge huge offense in Cincinnati. So
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if he, once his contract's up, if he gets an offer to go somewhere else. He could be a wide receiver one on
and
about a dozen other teams easily.
Yeah, and it depends on the offense. That's again a whole nother conversation. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? That he with that with his kind of breakout season, I guess you could say, he could end up someplace else in maybe 2 years. What is he, second year?
This is this is like his fourth year.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, he's got to be at least at the end of his rookie contract.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
All right, so that was our most improved player in a supporting role.
Yep.
We're going to go the opposite now, the biggest disappointment in a supporting role. Now, keep in mind, guys, these aren't wide receiver ones, running back ones. A guy that I was really, really high on this year who gets my Bentie is Gabe Davis. I think I picked him up in the 6th round. I was really high on him. I thought all year, and I said it on this show, that he could be the 1A to Diggs 1. And he really started out hot the first couple games, and then he just fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
His productivity just completely plummeted.
Yeah, right up, like you said, right off the cliff. Mine was Allen Robinson. Despite his fantastic first name and the correct spelling of it too, I might add. He was again a disappointment. That offense, not completely his fault, but he, even before anything else happened, beginning of the season, he really did not produce at all. And he was a great decoy though. They did put at least one defender on him sometimes. That's all they needed at the most.
Well, I think he had 2-3 catches, didn't he?
Oh, probably. Well, he had a touchdown in the game, but I think it was an accident.
Yeah.
So, big disappointment, man. I actually drafted him in one or both of my leagues. I'm not sure, but yeah.
He went fairly early in our league. I know that.
Yeah.
So
he went earlier in both leagues than he should have, and I don't remember if I picked him in one or both or what it was. But I know if I picked him, it was way too early, no matter what round it was.
yeah, and I agree with you there. So that's our biggest disappointment in a supporting role. Now we're gonna move on to best play calling, and I'm gonna
go first.
You're gonna go first, okay?
Yes.
All right.
Because on this one, my award, my Bentie, goes to the Kansas City Chiefs offense, and here's why. They don't have any number one standout stud wide receiver. Their running game is pretty good, enough to feed what Patrick Mahomes is doing. He is pretty much the backbone of the offense, him and Kelsey.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they work around that. If you're a head coach, you can't have him pass to Kelsey every single play or fake pass. It just doesn't work that way. So they've got an extensive play call, and it includes him scrambling when he probably shouldn't. But some great play calling has led them where they are.
Yeah, and there's no real, like you said, there's no real superstar wide receiver on there yet. Patrick Mahomes has consistently thrown for over 300 yards.
And they know how to use his talent. That's why.
Multiple touchdowns. Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if the Bears can maybe look at that and say, what the Chiefs are doing, because they're basing their offense around Patrick Mahomes' skill set. If the Bears can start doing that and work it in more, it's going to be exciting.
Yep.
So.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yours?
My best play calling, guys, I'm going to go a little off the cuff here, and that's going to be the NFL. The NFL, they decided to cancel that game the other night. Like I said, yes, he had a huge playoff implications. Okay, that game could have decided the overall number one seed and the bye in the first week of the AFC playoffs.
Yep.
But I think the NFL really did the right thing. It's really respectable of them to shut that game down, because they realized, you know what, there's a bigger picture here. We don't care. We're going to give up the revenues.
And that's at the risk of a lot of things. You've got all the sports betting, obviously.
You've got sponsorships.
You've got sponsorships. You've got promises that were made to people, and you've got fantasy, obviously, affected by that. There's a lot at stake to make that call, but it was the right call.
It was the right call.
Overall, I mean, you got to look at the big picture. It's life is not about football; it's about life, right? And that's what's important.
Yeah.
Above and beyond anything else.
Absolutely. All right, so that's our best play calling.
Yeah.
Now, this one's going to be fun because this is worst play calling. So you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Guys, I've said this all year long. Arizona Cards. I mean, their play calling has just been atrocious. We need a new offensive coordinator. They need a new head coach. Kingsbury, it's about time that he leaves. I did mention a show a couple shows ago. My friend Sean, who has season tickets to the Cardinals, tried to get on TV. I don't think he did on Christmas Day, but he wore a big bag over his head with a sign that said, "All I want for Christmas is a new coach and GM." So Arizona Cardinals, I don't know what you did, but your play calling this year just made no sense.
Yep.
So you get the worst play calling, at least in my book.
Yeah, there's a ton of problems in Arizona, just like there is in Chicago. Yeah,
I think Chicago actually is looking up, though. I wouldn't be. I'm not so sure about Arizona.
Well, who knows? They may both be in a tear down state before it's over, before this year's draft. You know.
Yeah.
So who knows? My pick is the Jets, the New York Jets, the entire Jets organization. Because I took something personal that they did. You know what they did?
They didn't utilize James Robinson after
That's right.
trading for him.
That's right. They screwed the pooch on that one, is what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think James Robinson is a huge talent. Not just because I'm biased, because he's from right here in Rockford, but is an outstanding football player.
Absolutely.
He's got a lot of talent, and he is completely unutilized, and that's a damn shame. So, Jets, I took that personally, and so New York Jets, if you're watching.
I'm sure they are now because we're giving them advice.
You think they watch?
Who doesn't watch the Benties?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Don't we get like?
This is the highlight of the football season.
Yeah, I know.
You know, other than the Super Bowl.
Yeah, other than the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And I know you're watching.
They are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't do that, man.
Yeah. Come on, man.
I took that personally.
And when they made
really
that
hurt, man.
I thought that was a blockbuster trade, and I thought you did too. After
Yeah.
Brees Hall got hurt, I thought, oh man, we got a new RB1.
Yeah.
And you know what? Nothing.
And then we should have an RB1. I don't care what
Yes.
you've seen. I know.
Yes.
We know. That Rockford magic was there.
Yes. Now this is going to be the most valuable player award, all fantasy season long. It's not the last category, but it's one of the most important.
And we did agree on this one.
Absolutely, we did agree. So you want to tell them who it is?
Sure. Our MVP pick this year, the Bentie, is, drumroll please, of course, Josh Jacobs. It's no big surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys could see that one coming.
Yeah. Like you said before, you know, he was drafted later in most drafts than obviously he should have been, being the leading rusher this year and being tons and tons and tons of fantasy points at a very low risk.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Obviously, you know, last year we talked about Josh Jacobs, and he had an injury and he was limping. You know, we talked about him limping along, so on and so on. This year, I seen a little bit something else out of him. I seen some definite toughness.
Oh, absolutely, man.
He last few weeks, fighting against injury, being on the injury report, going into the games, and then getting injured in the games, and going off the field, and then coming back on the field and playing the rest of the game, and just powering through it 2 weeks in a row. And,
yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something, man. When you hurt these two fingers, it's not easy to catch a ball. It's not easy to hold on to a ball while you're running.
Yeah, and guys are trying to slap it out of your hand. I mean, that's got to hurt like hell.
Yeah, so I seen some toughness there. I seen a lot of toughness. So that's definitely the reason I picked him, along with, obviously, his stats.
Yeah, and durability was one of the questions that I had going into the season. But, man, he really proved me wrong. So we were talking before the show, just throwing out some names who could be the number one overall pick next year. I'm not yet sold on it, but Josh Jacobs could be near the top there.
Absolutely. There's a I shouldn't say a lot. There's some really good candidates for number one picks, but we'll see how the draft goes and all that stuff before we say anything about that.
Yes.
I'm not making any predictions because, yeah. All right. So moving on. What was our next one? Oh yes.
Yes.
This is a new award to the show.
This is a new award to the show.
And
much like the ESPYs have the Arthur Ashe Humanitarian of the Year award.
Yep.
We're going to have the exact opposite. We're going to have the Urban Meyer Trash Person of the Year award.
Yep.
for our Benties. So I think we both agreed on this one.
Yeah,
Do you want
it's funny how we agreed on the best and the worst because
Yes.
they were so damn obvious. So, yeah, so go ahead and reveal this
I
one.
think you guys won't be surprised by this one either, but it's Antonio Brown. You know,
And then-
whether it's the
That may be the last time we ever mention his name on this show.
Yeah.
We're not sure yet.
well, we'll see, because unless he acts like an ass again, which he
Yeah.
probably will.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be the public pool flashing incident or the domestic violence or the 12-hour police standoff, we couldn't think of a better person this year than to win our
Or a worse person.
Our
if
worst-
you would.
well best winner for the worst person
There you go.
for Urban Meyer Trash Person of the Year award.
Yeah, yeah. I think you pretty much said it. He's a piece of crap. So.
Yes, he is.
And I honestly, I vote if we're voting, I vote that we never ever use his name on the show again.
Yeah.
That was easy.
I win.
Yeah. Oh, and he did also post deep fake nudes of Giselle on the internet. I told you about that one,
Did
didn't I?
they have his face on it? Because that would make sense.
They had her face on it.
Oh man, I'm
Yeah.
surprised. Anyway, so that's our Bentie's. No, wait. There was one more. There was. We forgot to go back to this. We forgot to go back.
Okay.
To it. Yes.
All right.
My label at the beginning said Michael Jackson, Josh Jacobs, Scarlett Johansson are sure to agree. But I never really clarified what it was. I just said one of our Benties.
What are they agreeing on, Alan?
Well, there's another Bentie that we didn't talk about.
And what is that?
Oh, remember how last year when we had the show and I surprised you at the end? I was
Yes.
like the best co-host of the year, and you.
Yes, I
you were
remember
up
that.
against Joe Buck. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember?
Oh, yeah.
I know it was close. I know it was real close. But you did edge him out.
Yes, I
I
did.
jokingly said on the show that you did not win, that Joe Buck won.
I think your granddaughter could beat Joe Buck out at this point. So.
So anyway, this year the surprise award that I have for you is what this was all about.
Okay.
Okay, so kind of odd that that's the one I got. I mean, it's strange. Anyway, yeah. So the surprise is the award this year, the Bentie, for the best host of a fantasy football YouTube show with the name Get Bent, and whose name is Alan Bentley. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
here-
I
so let me give you the candidates first. So let me. Oh yeah, right here. Yeah. The first one, surprise, is me.
Alan Bentley.
I'm the first candidate
Okay.
for the nominee for it. The second candidate is let's see. Oh, Alan Alda.
okay.
Yeah.
Alan Alda.
Of course, his last name is Alda, and mine's Bentley, so I'm named Alan Bentley, so I win.
All right.
So, yay
Well,
to me.
congratulations.
Thank you. All right.
You get a Bentie.
All right, I love myself. There we go. We're done. All right, so
Makes
guys,
one of us.
we're done for this season. So stay tuned though, because there will be more information about shows coming up next season and when we're starting that, and probably some stuff when the draft happens. So
Yes, absolutely.
again, thank you guys for tuning in every week, and we love you. And have a great week, and have a great playoff season.
Yeah,
And don't forget, get bent.
on fantasy football.